front and center. President Obama shaking hands with them right now, but to see Donald Trump, the president-elect, shake hands with Mike Pence, given the circumstances of the last few years, and January 6th, that is the first time that there's been a face-to-face meeting between those two.
And we will see President Obama take his seat next to President-elect Donald Trump. Not many words shared between those two that we do see them having a conversation right now, sort of looking at a program, sharing a brief smirk and a laugh. And what does it say that it is the funeral services of former President Jimmy Carter that has people smiling together, people that we don't anticipate, seeing as we see President Bush II here walking in? Just really speaks to the moment of President Carter, once again, inclusivity and bringing people together. You just see a lot of respect being displayed here at this service right now.
Well, you see an American government here that is always rowdy and rough between partisans, between former presidents, but on issues of gravitas and meaning, certainly it shows that we do come together on these kinds of things, on funerals, on big events, on inaugurations, and that's what we are seeing now and what the expectation is we will see in a few days.
And that's what's required. And I think this moment is here as we see former President Bill Clinton, former Secretary of State, his wife Hillary Clinton there, former presidential candidate as well. People standing to greet the Clintons as they enter and as these top dignitaries are taking up the first 4 rows here of this service. And you're right, Jeff, this is the moment to come together and smile. We still see,
but no handshake between Hillary Clinton and President-elect
Trump, for sure. That is notable here as well. But a lot of words being exchanged there between Trump and Obama, who we know Obama as a pretty cool conversationalist. So I think even in the difference of politics, kind of a pretty easy guy to sit next to in a moment like this, where we see President Trump in some of these moments sometimes sort of keep to himself. But I think that was a very notable moment to see him shake hands there with Vice President Pence, for sure, with Pence standing up to greet him as well as a show of respect as president-elect and his former running mate and partner.
The service will get underway here in approximately 5 minutes, according to the schedule. May be running a wee bit late. We will find out about that, but certainly everyone is assembling now in the National Cathedral for this service for the 39th President of the United States, Jimmy Carter. There is George W. Bush, former President of the United States, and his wife Laura sitting next to him. We see President Trump, we see President Obama, and we see the Clintons sitting next to the Bushes.
And we do expect President Joe Biden in the final days of his presidency to deliver the eulogy here. A very close friendship in politics. Was it President Biden was one of the first to endorse President Carter, and that's one of the moments that that President Biden really talks about in all of his years, being in D.C., and just really the stark difference between them, with Biden being a career politician, if you will, embracing the guy from Plains as he made his way to D.C., not too much on the D.C. Political scene there. And I think that's a special part of their relationship, and why we'll see that level of involvement from the president.
President Carter and President Clinton mixed it up at various times in the 1990s when President Carter went to North Korea, as we recall, who undertook a number of diplomatic missions that sometimes flew in the face of President Clinton's administration, and they mixed it up a bit as history has shown us. But today it is a moment to remember
as
President Carter.
Vice President Kamala Harris and Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff entering the services